Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bad Moms in Business, the podcast. Today, we are discussing a topic that we've touched on a little bit just inside talk in the past, but it is work from home burnout because we are still, in many cases, working from home. So, ladies, what you say on this? Woo!
This is a big one. I feel like I've been feeling it. I've been feeling it lately. On the last episode, we talked about like COVID and getting sick and, being in quarantine and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I guess because I'm pregnant and all that kind of fun stuff, I've really been trying to take it seriously and just buckle down at home and working from home, staying at home, lack of socialization.
All the home.
There's a lot of home. I love my home, but it's a lot of it.
Anytime you say and talk about this, I just go, again, what a blessing you had when you were in transition between houses. But just think if you were still in transition.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, guys.
Everyone has their like breaking point. So it's like you're in a home that you like and you love and your family is happy there. So it doesn't make it like easier, but it helps a little.
For sure. So part of my issue, and I don't know if you guys feel this at all, but I am a workaholic in my core. And so working from home for this long, and because I'm having the lack of socialization and stuff too, I've been having a very hard time disconnecting of like, this is work time. This is not work time, because it all just sort of bleeds together.
It does. That's such a great point.
I have the opposite problem. I'm a procrastinator-aholic. And when I'm at home, I'm like, man, I'll get to that in 5 minutes. I just have to finish this one thing, which is usually nothing productive. And then an hour and a half goes by. I'm like, oh, I still haven't done that one thing I was going to do.
It's insane how quick an hour and a half goes, though. Is it not crazy that you go, what, an hour and a half has went by? So to be fair to you, like, it's not fair to you that an hour and a half goes by so quickly, Bridgette.
No, it's not fair. But yeah, that's, so you get caught up in working too much, and I get caught up in working less than I should. I managed to get it all done, but it's usually because I've been cramming it in instead of taking advantage of the time that I had.
And I think I am smack dab in the middle. Like, I think Danielle could find something to do and organize all day long.
Of course I can.
And Bridgette, I think you're healthy in your stance. It's scattered. So you have breaks. It's not like consecutive work, where for me, I'm really trying to grind hard and really put in a lot of work within the shortest period of time that I can. So then I can do other things that aren't necessarily work related. For me, though, the hard part is there's very clear work stuff. And then there's work stuff that I'm like, but is it really work?
Interesting.
Like, if I'm talking to one of my agents who I just really like, is that work or is it just a friendly conversation?
Yes, it is work.
I'm also like, but it's also feeding like my friendship lane. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I have a lot of overlap just because that's how I've built my business. But so there's very clear work things for me. And then there's other things that, will I take a friendship call that happens to be one of my agents at 5:30? Sure. But otherwise, I'm not doing certain work past a certain time.
So over the last 2 years, have you guys felt this burnout of just like the same mundane routine?
Yes, 100,000%.
Amanda?
I
feel like you're like, not really.
I feel it in different ways. I think some people can obviously say absolutely yes. And I think typically they're individuals, and I don't want to just like assume, but I feel like this is a fair statement, with younger children. So, and that's not meant in any way to be disrespectful or anything. I think it's just a category. Like when you have younger children, especially at home, like you, Danielle, I feel like there's more guilt, that's being shed because there's just so many things. So I think if you have little ones that are maybe 10 and under, the burnout, the workload, the exhaustion just looks different, and I think is more obvious. Where for me, if Owen's upstairs not doing anything or, just doing his thing, like I can knock out a ton. He's not saying, oh, I don't have to put a kid down to nap. I don't have to feed a kid this or that. So I feel like
speaking to my soul.
Yeah. Am I burnt out a little bit of the same old boring regimen?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. But it's not like I'm worked out. I'm not burnt out because of work. I'm just bored.
Makes sense.
So how do we recover from burnout?
Good question.
I can tell you 2 things that I have done recently-ish that have really helped. So first thing was I had to figure out why I was feeling burnt out. And like I said, I was feeling like the bleed over and there was no like designated, like, this is when I'm working, this is when I'm not. And so for those of you that don't know, Brandon and I, my husband, we work together on our business, and my husband is very much like that he is just the fly by the seat of his pants, and he can kind of take it in flexible waves like that. I can't. I am an organized person. I like to have a clear, concise plan. And I had to express to him what I needed out of my schedule. And so we had to sit down together and figure out, okay, this is when we're going to both be working. This is when just one of us is working. This is when the other one is going to be with Watson. Like, we needed a clear-cut plan.
So good.
And then we've been doing that, and it's been so much better. Granted, now I have like weekly baby appointments and stuff, so it's been throwing off my schedule a little bit. The other thing is I don't have many hobbies because work is my hobby. And I know that sounds so dumb, but I've really been focusing on reading lately and stuff like that. And then even just things like what we're doing now, like our podcast, and having a passion project and having something else to look forward to outside of work.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 big ones.
I would just draw your attention, listeners, to Danielle's Instagram account, where she posted a picture of the ridiculous quantity of books that she purchased.
I bought a lot of books.
I'm proud of you, and they looked beautiful, but the stack is as big as she is. And
I had to do some rearranging over here, and then the overflow is over here. But actually, I kind of like it. So this has become like my TBR list. Like some of the other ones are over here, but like these are the ones that I would like to get through. And then when I'm done with these, I'll put them back and I'll swap them out for another.
Even her overflow of books are organized. Imagine that.
Have you started Verity yet?
I have not. So I know I need to. So I've been slacking the last like couple of days. I've been exhausted. The end of pregnancy is so hard. I've been exhausted. And so the last couple of days, I haven't really been reading much at night, like maybe a chapter or something. And I still have 3 books that I'm trying to finish up from 2021. So I'm working because I can't just read one book at a time because I'm a psychopath. And so, so I'm just trying to get through those. But I've been reading just like a chapter and then I fall asleep. And so,
yeah. It's hard.
And I feel like the only appropriate time in my life right now to read is at night. And it just makes me so tired right now.
See, and why do we do that? Like, why do we say, the only time that seems right that I'm not taking away family time or Watson time? I can't stand that us women do that, but we do it all the time. But I'm proud that you're resting and you're getting this, that
trying.
That you need. But I love that you guys really like set out that schedule.
Yes, I needed it.
Needing a little bit, and it really helped define, because this will probably look at like this for, I don't know, another year, probably, I'm assuming.
Who knows?
Bridgette, what about you? I mean, again, your boys are older, but they're still younger.
Yeah. So for me, I really need to be more like Danielle and get a set schedule in place. I had told myself, we have this office where I'm currently sitting, And I told myself that this year I was really going to schedule office hours where I am here in the office working versus at home. And the other day I worked hunched over my computer for probably no less than 5 hours, just like at my kitchen table, just like working and working and working. And at the end of it, I was like, why didn't I do that in my office? I would have felt so much more comfortable. I would have even probably been more productive, and it might not have taken me the full 5 hours that it did to do everything that I did. And granted, it was like beginning of the year stuff. It's just the nature of the business. But yeah, so I think for myself, utilizing my office space and being outside of my house as much as possible. And I know that's not possible for some people. You don't have an office to go to. But secondly, making time that is just yours to do whatever it is you want to do. Whether that's you want to go upstairs and you want to lay in your bed for 45 minutes and like watch a show on your iPad or read a book or whatever.
Do it.
Sounds
so good.
Yes. Take 45 minutes, take an hour to do whatever it is that you want or need to do. You're not doing chores. You're not doing work. You're just doing
Take a sit down shower.
Hey, we've done an episode or maybe episodes at this point on self-care and the importance of it. So, I mean, you've got to schedule in that self-care.
Yeah.
That might just be the difference between burning out or not.
I think that's one of the only ways to combat it because you have to work.
Yep.
Unfortunately, a lot of us have to work at home. And so what do you do?
Yeah.
Well, I think you brought up a good point too, Bridgette, where I can't remember exactly. Was it last year when you had an office at home, but then you converted it into, I don't know, a different room for your family. Yeah. And so you were just saying that you were like sitting at your kitchen and stuff like that. And that's not always a conducive work environment because like I can sit at my kitchen. I'm so thankful that I have a room like this that I can dedicate to work because it's just work stuff in here and my books. But like, it's just a very productive environment where like, if I were to take my computer and go sit at the kitchen table, now I'm looking at the floors that need to be cleaned or my dogs need to be let out or, oh, I need to do my dishes or unload the dishwasher or make dinner or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's where it gets hard. You know, Ariel is bad. So anytime
bless her heart. I love her.
Oh my gosh. I wish I was kidding you when I said that if I sit at the kitchen table, the entire time I sit there, she wants to go in and she wants to go out and she wants to come back in and then she wants to go back out and she will sit at that door and she will whine and cry to either be let in or be let out the entire time. It's awesome.
Dogs are just as hard as kids in many cases, sometimes worse because they don't listen.
They don't.
They're easily distracted.
There is something in the air. These dogs of mine have just stopped listening. They are great dogs. They used to listen so well. I don't know what, they just like flipped a switch. They're done now. They've done all the listening that they've done and they're not going to do it anymore.
Maybe it's a full moon. I don't know. And
especially it lasts like 3 months.
Yeah. My dogs are always bad, so I can't really say that they have ever listened. But especially like this time right now, I know a lot of schools are going remote again.
Yeah.
So throwing that on usually the mom's plate, you know, it definitely adds to burnout. So Bridgette, let's go back to when you were virtual with your kiddos. I know.
That phase.
What did you do? If there was anything, because I know we just spoke a lot about it's just survival. Like we just get like check another day that we got it done because we can only do so much. Are there any tips for anyone who's working from home again and who's doing virtual again?
Cry.
Okay.
Scream into the void. I mean, unless you have done it, you have no idea how hard it is. I pray that our school does not close again because it is so stressful to have 2 different kids in 2 different classes. doing two different things, and one needs this room because it needs to be quiet, and this one needs this room because, you know, it's just, then there was nothing we could do at that time because we couldn't go anywhere.
No. And then there was internet connection issues too, because everybody is using the same internet, and you needed to work and they needed to be on school, and it was just like a lot.
Yeah. So there was really nothing. I mean, I did the best that I could as far as when school was done. We learned to cook a couple new things, and we baked a couple new things, but there was nothing that you could do outside of your house.
Yeah.
Right. To combat being burnt out. You were just stuck.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, burnt out is just a season too. But
yeah.
just
for sure.
Just don't stay in that season. Mm-hmm. You know, put it on the calendar. 30 days from now, you're done being burnt out.
Yeah.
Well, I think, Amanda, you brought up a good point of just taking time for yourself, doing some sort of help or self-care, you know, self-love kind of thing, just figuring out what really kind of brings you back to feeling a bit more normal.
Yeah.
And make your bed in the morning. That always helps. Yeah.
Why do I hate that? I just want to be that person. You would think that I am, but I'm not.
I'm not either. No, ma'am.
It just, because it makes you feel productive. Like, it starts your day productive.
I've heard.
Well, I mean, I think if anything, we wanted this episode to let other mamas know that burnout is totally normal, especially during what's been thrown at us, and just find those little ways to keep you from, you know, going over the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised how quickly you can rebound if you take the time to sit in a room in the dark and cry for 20 minutes.
I'm so hormonal. Oh God.
I tell you, when I go downstairs and I look at how much laundry I have occasionally, it brings me to tears. I get over it, and then I do a load, and I'm like, okay, one less load. Although
exactly.
I've been putting it in my planner, and if it's in my planner, it has to be done.
Oh, goodness.
Boom.
I love it.
But it's a small achievement that helps me, like, stay out of that, like, full burnout that I feel like I've not progressed, you know, in any way that day. Because you just got to celebrate every little win that you have that day. Maybe you don't get everything done, but you got a lot done.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Every little
even
bit
if
helps.
you sat on the couch and watched Netflix the whole day, that still technically was maybe doing something that day. Depending on where you were.
Listening to your body, resting when you need to rest.
Absolutely.
It happens.
Absolutely. So we don't have the answers. We're just there right beside you.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Cool.
Final thoughts, ladies.
I'm tired.
I know we all are like, we're tired. Hence why we're talking about burnout.
Exactly. I have been totally feeling it. And I've been feeling the pressure because I'm having a second kid. So it's like, I'm just trying to squeeze out as much work as I possibly can, because I know I'm going to have to take some time off, and it's.
Who's she kidding? She squeezes out as much work as she possibly can every day of her life.
Every single day.
Just like to work. It's weird.
I understand. I mean, it truly can be a hobby. It really can. It feeds you that way, and it makes you feel good. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. Well,
all right.
What a sad episode this was.
That was the most depressing episode we've ever made.
Cool. But cool. I mean, I think it's a conversation that still had to be had. And fellow burnout moms, we with you.
Yeah. We gave some tips and tricks and stuff on how to do it.
Drugs.
What?
I said, I kind of feel like when I said that, it made it sound like we were doing drugs. Fellow burnout moms. Isn't like
a little bit. I didn't think it, but now I am.
You know what I meant.
Oh,
I instantly regretted those words. I was like, All right, everyone. Have a great week. We will see you next week with another more optimistic and positive topic.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Bye.